All right, shalom, 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 boys. Here, while out walking, spending the time with the flock, making sure everything is good. And I wanted to talk about something right quick. It's interesting to watch these videos because, again, I am entertained. Uh, but there's a bit of a sorrow there because people, they really don't understand, and you can tell that people don't understand the spiritual aspects of this walk and what we need to do in order to become renewed in our mind. And I was recently watching a video of this brainwave TV guy who he's attacking pretty much everybody now. And one of the particular videos, one of the last videos he was talking about was how we don't need to come out the city and we don't need to live set apart, and that our salvation is not necessarily attached to that. And I would agree. Overall, I would agree. Can you live in the city and be saved? Because after all, the Messiah did say, and Yah did profess that he was going to gather his people from the four corners of the earth. I totally agree. I totally agree with that. That is just scripturally factual, and nobody is going to change that fact. So there's not necessarily no one that has to be in one geographical location in order to be saved. That's a lie because the scriptures doesn't talk about that. But what he fails to understand uh, is the spiritual aspects of moving, of getting out of uh, the cities. Because after all, and I speak from the perspective of being from the city. I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. 234 Sand Street. I've lived in Flatbush. I've lived all over that. I've lived in Newark. So I know what it means to live in a city. I know what it means to be amongst the heathen, and I say it over and over again. I had a good life in the city. I get it, but the challenge what they fail to realize from the spiritual aspects of this walk is that when you are inundated and you are around the desires of your flesh, it is very, very, very difficult to make that conversion. And I'll give you a perfect example. Let's say you're an alcoholic, right? And you're struggling with alcoholism. Do you think it would be good for you to uh, walk out your door or have a bar in your house, even though you're an alcoholic? What do you think it would be, or do you think it would be healthy for you spiritually? Every time you walked out the house, there was a liquor store to your left and a liquor store to your right. And you had to walk past that liquor store every day, and you're attempting to overcome addiction to alcohol. Would that be a wise thing for you to do? Would it be a wise thing for you to uh, be in that atmosphere? Uh, and the answer, of course, is no, even after conversion. You know why? Because there are times where we're weak in the flesh. There are times where we're down. There's some times where we got to be recharged. And Satan comes at your weakest point. And so let's say, and I'm using this as an example, and I'll give you other examples because everybody does not deal with the same challenges in the spirit or in their flesh. And this is what Brainwave TV or LLC, but what he fails to realize and understand. Uh, there's going to be a time where hey, we get challenged, and then before you know it, that same person has fallen because they had that temptation there. I'll give you another example. What if you are challenged with the spirit of being a hoe or a whoremonger, right? And you are in the city because all of these things are readily available in the city. They're readily available for you to get to. So let's say you have a challenge with that, right? You have a challenge with that, and then you are hit with a low point, right? Something happens where Satan challenges you, and you have to deal with that. And then come to find out, you are in a situation where you can just go ahead and go right on 125th Street, to go down on Flatbush Avenue and get yourself a whore. Right? 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 People don't understand these aspects of coming out. It could be any number of things. It can be an addiction to any number of drugs or drug dealers or anything. You could be having a challenge with crack, and hey, the crack man is right on the corner, and all you got to do is go right down in the corner and get yourself some crack, right? You could be dealing with the spirit of gluttony, okay? And you're morbidly obese, and I tell you, man, there's a Kentucky Fried Chicken wing, there's a KFC, there's a Popeyes, there's a Chick-fil-A, there's a McDonald's, I'll tell you, there's a Jack in the Box, everything, and you're dealing with the spirit of gluttony. And you gotta pass that every single day. And then one day, Satan brings it. See, people don't understand, or they fail to realize that these are the challenges. These are how the challenges come. And so therefore, you fall into that iniquity. But the benefits of being out in the country is that there's no Jack in the Box. Sure, there's a McDonald's or there's a Burger King or whatever. In town, sure, there are these places, but they're much farther away and they're not in my face. There's not hoes and prostitutes. There's not drug dealers. There's not liquor stores right around it. It's amazing. In the county that I live in, they just allowed, I forgot what they call counties, that a dry county. I think that's what they call it. I was living in a dry county until recently, where they just recently allowed liquor stores to come into this county. This was just over the past couple of years. But prior to that, you couldn't get alcohol out here. You had to drive to another county. And people don't get, and they don't understand these concepts. They don't realize the importance of it. But not only that, if you're around a couple of brothers, you know what I'm saying? I mean, when you're weak, they can strengthen you. When, this is where iron sharpen irons come from. When you're dealing with challenges, you have somebody that you can mend with, and be somebody that's right there, that can help you out, that can uplift you in your times of weakness. But if you lack those things and you're not strong, you'll fall. You'll fall back into the same snares in which you were inundated with. And they don't get this. They don't understand that. They don't realize that these are the benefits, because it's about the transformation of your mind, the renewing of your mind. But if you're in the environment that constantly reminds you and constantly draws you back, because Satan, I'm telling you, he speaks to you, and he constantly wants you to be in a situation as to where he's going to entice you to draw you back into the same snares that once gripped you before. And they don't understand this. They don't understand this aspect of this walk. And this is why he says, come out of her, my people. Do you have to be saved? And because, clearly, Hebrews, even back in the day, in Roman times, that lived in the cities, clearly, he went to all different provinces, and they had home fellowships, clearly. But the problem that we're having today is that iniquity is personified. The lust of the flesh is personified today. What if you're a sister and you just love twerking, and you just surrounded by a whole bunch of twerkers, and all these sisters do that you surround yourself with is they twerk, and it's amazing how you see this stuff all the time. How you see sisters, they claim to be in the faith, but they spend all their time around these heathen women. They got their little head wrap on and everything, but they spend all their time around Gentile, pagan, heathen women, that don't want to convert at all. And they constantly associating, taking pictures with these sisters, but they haven't converted their mind. They're still in the same snare, and they think because they say, "Oh, I'm Israel," and they're not around. They don't spend no time. They spend the majority of their time around, and it goes for brothers as well. They spend the majority of their time around people that have no intentions of changing their life. Who do you think is going to have the biggest influence on their life? You on them, or they on you? If you don't rebuke, correct, or you condone their life and you don't even correct them at all, who do you think is going to win in that scenario? Because you will be a combination of the books you read, the tapes you listen to, and the people that you associate with. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? And see, this is what Brainwave don't understand. This is what he don't address, and this is what he doesn't get, is because he lacks this level of discernment spiritually, because he doesn't have the spirit. I mean, this is just the truth. I mean, you just watch these people. They're all fakers. They're all YouTube content creators that just want attentions. That's all they want, views and attention. They're not trying to really edify or help anybody out in any kind of level of growth or discernment whatsoever. It's sad to see these people just run their damn mouths. They got nothing good, righteous, holy, true, just to offer anybody. All they have is words. That's all they have. Stay encouraged, folks. Get out the city. Try and live a more self-sufficient, sustainable lifestyle, because all these cities, they're all going to shit. I mean, there's just so many reasons why you want to get out the city. The crime, the migrant crisis. I mean, it's amazing how I look at these reports coming in. None of this stuff is happening out in the country. None of this stuff, none of this debauchery, none of this. There hasn't even been an uptick in crime in the country since I've been out here. I've seen no uptick whatsoever. No reports, no strange reports, nothing like that. Nothing like that. But you see it going through the roof in the cities. St. Louis going to shit. Detroit going to shit. New York going to shit. Memphis going to shit. I can go on. Houston, shit. Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Kensington Avenue. I used to hang out over there or drive through there in my hangings out. Open air drug market. Gone to shit. Louisville, Kentucky. Shit. Atlanta, Georgia. Modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. Gone to shit. All going to shit. And people are still there. I don't do business in these cities. If I got to go, I get in and get out. I don't spend majority of my time in the cities. I make as just much money, if not more money, in the country than in the city. We got to understand these concepts. We got to understand it, because people like this Brainwave guy, he can't teach you nothing because he don't live nothing at all. But for those who you get it, stay encouraged, stay the course. Shalom.